Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Today's video is going to be unscripted because I want to react to the recent teasers Stranger Things Season 4 released, as well as talk about a lot of the things we know most likely will be in the season. And without further ado, I want to get to the teaser. The teaser starts off in the Soviet Union, and obviously it's really cold. And, well, let's just skip to the part everyone knows about. Hopper is still alive. Oh gee, I didn't see that coming. Yep, I thought he was dead for real. Never thought he would be the American the end of the season was referring to. Yep. He had been dead. Oh gee, I am so surprised he's still alive. Okay, my sarcasm aside, I don't think anybody really thought he was dead. He's a fan favorite, and this show doesn't kill all fan favorites. Even though they always try to be edgy, like, yeah, we kill off characters, they just do what every show does. They create characters with the sole purpose to kill them off, and the fan favorites are largely protected unless the actor wants to do something else or whatever. You know, that's not to say I'm not happy he's still alive. Because, well, tell you the truth, he's actually one of my favorite characters. But I just want to say, like, a kind of a pet peeve of mine in a lot of shows like this is that they like to kill off a character and then bring them back and say an explanation like, oh, they weren't dead all along, or they were dead but through some miraculous deal they're alive again. I'm fine with that trope when done sparingly, but I feel like shows like Arrow in the early days did it way too often. Doing it as often as it's done takes away the sadness of death. When they killed off Hopper at the end of the last season, it was supposed to be sad, you know, they're moving away and whatnot, but I never believed for a second he was dead. And I don't think anybody did either. And I felt the way they did the ending, he could have easily gotten out of there and be alright. There was no reason for him to stay where he was. It's like, go ahead, Joyce, turn the machine on, let me die. The actor who plays Hopper said that his character had to die because he needed to sacrifice himself for his daughter, 11. Honestly, I think that's stupid because he just adopted this girl and he left her fatherless. What the hell, man? What the hell? I thought it was sadder in Season 1 where they led you to believe that 11 was dead for real, but then teased at the end that she was still alive. And I think the reason why that worked better there rather than in Season 3 is because you don't really know if she was still alive or not, because the show seemed like they would have killed her for good, and, well, find out originally that was their intention. It was also sadder that this girl who had pretty much been abused her whole life and has only just learned what love is, was willing to sacrifice herself for Mike and his friends. Well, she was doing it mostly for Mike. She knew full well she could die doing this, but there was no other way to defeat the Demogorgon. Her saying goodbye, Mike, you know, it's just absolutely heartbreaking, and especially considering how young she is and how young he is. He's watching somebody he cares about disintegrate right in front of his eyes. And that really messed the kid up. We see that in Season 2, and Even season 3, him saying, I can't lose her again. You could tell that one moment affected him for the rest of his life. Whereas in season 3, it's treated like it's supposed to be sad, but he was kind of a jerk last season. The season beforehand, he did show a softer side. And I kind of wish they'd explored that more. And also last season, he was a real jerk towards Mike for whispering whatever he said to Eleven. And yeah, it was disrespectful, but I thought Max encouraging Eleven to disobey Hopper's rules was way more disrespectful than anything Mike whispered to her. I actually kind of laughed at the end of season 3 because I thought the reason why he let himself get killed is because Joyce would have yelled at him if she found out he didn't listen to her in regards to how to handle Mike and Eleven's relationship. But anyway, enough about that. I want to get into some of the details. So far, we know that Episode 1, as of now, is going to be called the Hellfire Club, which is a reference to the X-Men, and that there's going to be at least 4 new characters, 3 teenagers, and an adult. Obviously, it's not going to take place completely in Hawkins anymore. I guess it's going to take place in Russia and wherever the hell Eleven, Joyce, Will, and Jonathan moved to. I have to say, I am not liking these details that are coming out about Season 4. So far, it kind of feels like they're trying to imitate the X-Men. I mean, one of the things I hated about Season 2 was the addition of 8. Because I feel like 11 should be the only number from the lab to still be alive. I'm not opposed to the idea of introducing other numbers if done right, but Season 2 just handled it really poor, and I never really bought that 8 would have still been alive after all those years. I mean, her whole power is to be able to make you think you're seeing something that's not there. I mean, how hardcore the lab was to get 11 back, where they were even willing to kill to get her. I don't believe that somebody from the lab who knows of 8's powers would fall for her tricks. I mean, literally, you could just pull out a gun and blow her brains out and problem solved. Also, a problem I have with the idea of the other numbers still being alive is that it diminishes Eleven's uniqueness among the group. What made her interesting was that she was the only one with these powers. Everyone else was just a normal human being. And also, there was a part in Season 1 where 11 killed both of the guards that were going to put her in solitary confinement. Brenda's reaction was, wow, that's incredible. Why would he be that impressed if he had seen other numbers do similar stuff? This show kind of sucks at handling new characters. Like, a great example of this was Season 2, where they added Max and her brother Billy and Bob, who I really liked, and then they had 8 in their gang, and with the exception of Bob, that none of the characters really were handled well. They spent so much time introducing them, but they didn't really do anything interesting with them. Because, like, Season 2, my big complaint about it was that, and I may do a future video where I'm more cohesive on my thoughts on it, but Season 2's big problem was that it was an unfocused mess. Season 1 had a clear goal. Season 2 didn't seem like they knew what they were doing, and Season 3, I felt they did a better job with the characters they introduced, like Robin and the mayor, and even the jerks at the newspaper Jonathan and Nancy were working at. A lot of fans feel like the show is starting to become overcrowded with characters, and honestly, I feel the same way. And part of the problem is that this show, each season, is supposed to tell a clear story from start to finish, and they don't have a lot of wiggle room to do standalone episodes. Like season 2 tried to do one with that god awful Lost Sister episode. It's like they wanted to connect it to the main story without actually connecting it to the main story. It doesn't work. So I'm just afraid that the 4 new characters are just going to take more screen time away from the ones we already know and love. I wish they would just focus on those characters and not feel the need to introduce new ones every season. Another complaint I have is that it looks like they're going to try to squeeze in 9 episodes, and they said that one of them is going to explore the origins of one of the main characters, possibly Hopper. I don't know if that's right, but could be him. And well, considering how bad the Lost Sister episode was, that sounds like a terrible idea. Because, like, if it's Hopper for the sake of argument, I feel like we already know enough about him that we don't need to explore his whole origin story. That was another problem with season 2, is that we really didn't learn anything new about 11 that we don't already know, except that for some reason they had her in a room with 8 as children. Why 8 specifically, and why has she never interacted with any of the other numbers, and why she doesn't remember 8, and why did season 1 made it out like she was the only number left, even though there's, I guess, more out there. But, well, anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that it looks like they're going down the same path, and they hadn't learned the lesson from the Lost Sister episode. And I hope to God 8 in her gang doesn't come back. I really don't want to see those characters again. In fact, I don't want to see any of the other numbers again. Another fear I have of this show going forward is that they're going to advertise it being one thing and it's going to be something entirely different. Like, for example, last season was advertised as the Summer of Love, and basically what we got was boy bashing, more specifically Mike bashing, and I did a whole video on that, and I don't want to go over that again. To be honest with you guys, like, season 1 was really fantastic, and it set the bar so high that I don't think any of the other seasons were ever going to live up to it. Not that I think they're all going to be bad from here on out, but my general opinion of the seasons is that season 1's a masterpiece, season 2 was a jumbled mess, and season 3, better than 2, not as good as 1. As for season 4 going forward, I think it's going to end up like season 2, a jumbled mess. Like, I feel the problem the Duffers have is that they want to go big, big, big. And that's fine if you have a great story to tell. But if you don't, it's not a good way to move a story forward. Because season 1's greatest advantage is that the story is very simple. I could just sum it up by saying, a boy is lost and people are trying to find them and strange things happen. The other two seasons tried to be even bigger and they fail miserably. Like, I think the Lost Sister episode is very symbolic of that, where it wants to be flashy, it wants to be badass, it wants to be bigger than life, over the top, and yet there's really nothing underneath all that. And that's kind of the impression I'm getting of this new season. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe season 4 will be fantastic. You know, it could happen, but honestly, I'm not holding my breath for that. And that's all I have to say about my feelings towards all that's come out. And I want to apologize for the unscripted nature of this video. I just want to get my feelings out there as quickly as possible, and maybe I'll do another video where I actually script everything out of how I feel, so it doesn't feel like a babbling mess. But thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.